Remaining silent. The art of saying nothing when nothing is needed to be said. The art of being able to maintain presence and maintain awareness, but still say nothing. To be in a group, stand back, observe, but not engage. To be present in life, but not have to comment on everything. It's a talent and an art and a skill, and oh boys, is it healthy. Science is proving more and more, and as the years are progressing, that saying nothing, which I'm not good at, is healthy. The benefits are clear. It helps cell production in the brain, it relieves stress, and most of all, it increases the production of the happiness hormone. Remaining silent and being the insecure kid in school is not such a bad thing anymore. Because that silent kid might be the kid that is the smartest, the most intelligent, and achieve the most in future life. But more importantly, they might be benefiting their health by saying nothing when nothing is needed to be said. So today, let's go over this and see how 2 hours of silence every week could benefit you mentally and physically. What's up guys, welcome back to the Focused Future channel. I hope you guys are all having an amazing day. I hope we're happy, healthy and keeping up our well-being. Today we're going to go over the art of silence and remaining silent and how new scientific studies have proven that science might actually be healthy. Silence might actually be more healthy than we thought. How you can introduce more silence into your life and how that could benefit you. So if you're interested in all that kajaba, please stay tuned. If not, make sure you're clicking in the link in the description on the top link to learn a bit more about me. But apart from that, let's jump into this and learn how to be a bit more silent and increase our health. Now, have you ever tried to just be silent for even 5-10 minutes? Just sit in your room, not with any devices, not doing anything. Just sit on your bed, stare at your wall, and not say anything for 10 minutes. Half hour, an hour. Just try that tonight. I bet you now, I'm not trying to put you down, that you will fail. You will be tempted to pick something up. You will be tempted to look at something. You will be tempted to put something on in the background. Your self-control will go out the window and you'll be like, man, I need head hammer music right now. It's scientifically proven. You can't even deny it. There's not many people who can remain silent for that extended period of time. However, the negative thing is that science has literally proved that remaining silent for not just half hour, not an hour, but 2 hours every week, one of them days of that week, could have health benefits that are severe. Could lower your chances of having a stroke, lower your chances of dementia, and increase brain capacity and function. Just through 2 hours of every week, you to sit there and say and do nothing. I'm totally not tempted to try this now. I will probably fail, let's be real here. And I'm sure you guys don't want to watch 2 hours of me saying and doing nothing. It's even proven that it can regrow cells in your brain, relieve toxic stress that is damaging your brain, and make you more smarter and more productive the next day. All because you sat there and did nothing for 2 hours, guys. You don't even have to look at anything apart from your wall. And you are helping yourself. I think this is just a miracle for teenagers. I think a lot of teenagers will be quite happy to do this. Just sit in bed, do nothing. Most teenagers complain they don't do nothing enough, so there you go. Brilliant. Happy days. No teacher's ever going to tell me that I'm doing something wrong by sitting there doing nothing, ever again. Because I'll put that scientific evidence in their face and be like, screw you. So the big question of today's video is, should we do this? How difficult is it to do this? And how can we try and do this? I'm not going to say this is going to be achievable with everyone, because it does depend on what personality you have. Now the problem is, with modern society, we are all in such a rush, in such a hurry to go further, in such a hurry for success and happiness, that not many of us have even an hour a day to sit there and stare at a wall and do nothing. Actually, if your mum found you staring at a wall doing nothing, should either be calling an ambulance or be very concerned for your health. You can just show her this video. Hi mothers across the world. I told your son or daughter to stare at walls. Practically while they're doing this. Please watch the rest of this video to find out why. Thanks guys. Now your mother's reaction was probably something along the lines of, this is a teenager man, come on, he don't know nothing, like stop staring at walls, Jilly, go down, do your work please, I ain't got time for this, you know, the kitchen needs clearing up and I'm working my arse off over here. Just follow your mother's advice before you get a beating. But there is generally big improvements in health by doing this, and this is not a joke as much as it might seem like one. However, this is not easy. You know, if you've ever tried it, you'll understand what I mean. But the temptation, the pure need to do something is so huge to the point where it's actually hard to resist. Even if there's one thing in your room, you'll be tempted to fiddle with it, you'll be tempted to pick it up, but you can't. Sorry guys, I'm sorry to afraid, but you can't. You have to sit there with your hands on your lap and say and do nothing. Your mouth shouldn't move. And that's very difficult. It's all down to self-control. How much control do you really have, as stupid as it sounds, of yourself? Or do your emotions and instincts take over the minute you start to do something that's a bit out of the normal? Your brain kind of gets used to things. It starts to learn what your routines are, and it kind of just expects the same thing over and over again. If you then throw in 2 hours of silence every week, your brain's like, oh my Jesus Christ, what is this guy doing? I can't cope, please do something. And suddenly you start having a fit. Not an actual fit, don't worry. So how do you make sure that when you do sit there in silence, if anyone watching this video is actually going to do this, make sure that that doesn't happen? Well, the idea is you improve self-control. Self-control is mostly about being able to stick to routines, deadlines, and a lot of it just comes with becoming an adult. You know, as a teenager, we do have a lot of leeway. You know, we don't have to pay bills, we don't have to work 9-to-5 jobs, and, you know, mummy and daddy cook us dinner every night. So, you know, life's fun. But as you get older, all these things kind of go away, and you start to learn that you can't lay in bed till 12 o'clock every day and be served a beautiful breakfast. You suddenly don't live in a 5-star hotel. And a lot of the time, just getting older will increase your chances of being able to sit there, stare at a wall and not doing anything for 2 hours. Because your brain's not so hypersensitive to doing nothing. As a teenager, you are hyper-reactive to learn. Your brain wants to do things all the time, and a lot of the time this means increased energy and increased levels of adrenaline. So as you get older, that kind of dies off, you know, hormones go away, and suddenly you're able to sit still for more than 2 seconds. But there are other ways of making sure that you can do this, even as a teenager or a young adult. So let's go over each of these and see if I can provide you some tips. Now, the first thing you really need to start doing to even be able to slightly do this is be able to stick to deadlines. If you even do volunteering or you're in a club, making sure that you're there on time no matter what, making sure you're getting tasks complete before the deadline preferably, and you're just generally able to keep up to date with deadlines and other things. That's the first step. You know, if you've got professional targets or personal targets, making sure they are being met. That's the first stage of self-control, and you really need to work hard at it. You know, if someone gives you a deadline, make sure it's in your brain that that deadline, no matter what happens, has to be met. Obviously, as long as you're not going to die and pass out of a viral disease. I feel like some people are just going to take me too seriously and like generally do anything to achieve that goal. So they'll like jump off a cliff just to do it. I'm like, please, you know, as long as you're not going to die, then do it. But if you're going to die, don't do it. The next one is meditation. Meditation is pretty much sitting there with your eyes closed, doing nothing, saying nothing, as long as you're not listening to a lady go, as long as it's silent meditation with no one in your ear, you are technically sitting there doing nothing. All you're doing is focusing on your breathing. So if you want to meditate for 2 hours, fantastic. There you go, there's your 2 hours a week of doing nothing. However, meditation can also be used in a bit more of a diplomatic approach. If you're just meditating every day for 15 to 20 minutes, it will improve your levels of self-control because you've had to dedicate yourself to meditate, and then your brain started to learn that you do have control over it. You know, it's not just a rolling roller coaster. So try and get into a routine if you're really determined to do this, of meditating every day, or for 2 hours each week, you're meditating flat out for 2 hours. If you're not an advanced meditator, probably not a good idea. If you want to learn how to meditate, please click a link below where I go over how to meditate effectively. Next one is being loved. It's scientifically proven that people who have been loved as a child or people who have supportive families are much more likely to be able to control themselves a lot better because their brain's no longer seeking attention 24/7. So make sure you're working on yourself and, you know, finding people who really do love you. And the next one is set out who are the people who you're going to love. A lot of people just go around, you know, their daily lives and don't really think about who they come into contact with, don't really think about who they're going to talk to and who they're not. But believe you me, in self-control, it's so important to be able to pick apart people who are negative to you and kick them out. So they're the 4 tips. Create goals, personally and professionally, and make sure you can stick to them. The next one is seek deep meditation either for 2 hours each week or on a regular basis until you learn how to control yourself more and you can stick to all deadlines. Allow yourself to connect with loved ones or find people who love you or find just generally better friends who really do connect with you on a deep level. Again, healing that inner trauma if you've had it as a child, because if you're not loved, you are going to have something in the back of your brain always telling you you need attention. And the next one is allow yourself to decide who you're going to talk to, who you're going to get attention from, and who your friends are. Don't just let the world take over that. So if you can follow all these tips that I just gave you, you might be able to sit there for 2 hours each week, try and say and do nothing, and improve your health. I know, it's amazing. I can stare at walls nowadays, say nothing and do nothing, and still be a healthy little boy. Brilliant. So, that is my challenge for this week. Go out there, try this. I think I am going to as well, and make a video on it because I'm going into some form of lockdown over the next week or so. So, you'll probably see a video on this at some point anyway. So yeah, go out and try that and let me know how you get on. Bye-bye.